So let's talk Cthulhus. I think this is the best one of all the archetypes that I'm discussing today for the Grimm archetypes or tribes. I've already discussed fairy tales earlier than today, and wanderers, and I think I did nightmares and elves, and today I did a bunch of other archetypes, and they're all in the playlist that this video is in. Vampires, card soldiers, musketeers, which I don't think are worth building. And then in the case of Cthulhus, they come in mostly three colors: water, darkness, and fire, which is what's called in Magic Grixis. But there is one lone wind or green Cthulhu, and it's Bastet. This card gains +100/+100 for each card in your opponent's graveyard. If you're in a deck where you're causing your opponent to discard, this card can get really strong. Otherwise, I wouldn't play it. Now, of course, wind or green is the color of early Force of Will. It's where a lot of the really strong cards are. So it's possible to make a 4-color deck for Cthulhus. There is a Cthulhu ruler as well in Moon Priestess Return, Nyarlathotep, which I do have already in the cube. And so yeah, I guess you could go 4 colors with maybe like something like Rulers of Memoria, which I need like about 200 of, and then put not just Bastet, but some really good wind cards. All right, so Squirmer of the Dark. So what does this guy do? It's a 3/1000/1000. So at the beginning of your main phase, put the top 3 cards of your Magic Stone deck into your graveyard. If you cannot put them this way, you lose 1,000 life. Yeah, so that's a big weakness for a 3/1000/1000. Your Magic Stone deck. I don't like that. I don't think I would play this guy. King in Yellow. Very good card. So when this card is put into your graveyard from your field, so somebody whacks it, or maybe you sacrifice it, I don't know. I wouldn't sacrifice it. It makes no sense. You can search for another one and put it in your hand. Yeah, very nice. Great card. And an expensive common, which in Force of Will is rather rare. Yeah, Thuga, which is from Millennia of Ages. There are good cards in Millennia of Ages, friends. There really are. And I think Six Sages got some support in recent sets, which is really interesting and well played by the company, by Force of Will. All right, so Incarnation, so you can banish another fire resonator that you have on the field to cast this instead of paying the 3 drop. And it's got swiftness, so it's got haste. Very nice card indeed. Then Black Goat, you can pay a fire, remove this card in your graveyard from the game, and it deals 200 damage. This would have been really good, only in a Grimm only kind of cube. This card is very weak, just making a note of it. Alright, so there's some really good Cthulhus in Moon Priestess Return, and then this guy is in CMF. Let me get the Cthulhus and get the other cards in the back. Yeah, so these are all Cthulhus. Actually, let's discuss the Anthem first, because that's an easy one to discuss. Cthulhus you control gain +200/+200. You pay 1 darkness, banish it, put the top 5 cards of your main deck into your graveyard. This is great. Because you have a bunch of reanimator spells, and then you drop this, you sack it, you sack one of them. The other ones you use to boost the Cthulhus, but then one of them you can use to boost your graveyard, and then you can reanimate a bunch of Cthulhus. I like that a lot. Okay, so we've got, let's see how many we have on fire, darkness. So we have got, let's discuss the ones with fewer in this particular group, and then get down to, I think there's a nice selection of, and this one's multi-attribute. Okay, so as far as water goes, you have Deep Ones from CMF. Gains +200/+200 for each resonator in your graveyard. That's very nice. It can get pretty big. Yeah, and actually it's it goes really well with something that drops a bunch of things in your graveyard. Yeah, it really does. And then Byakki, I guess I'm going to call him Byakki, or her, the winged lady, flyer with Incarnation. So you may banish 2 darkness resonators to save yourself the 5-drop cost. When you tap it, target resonator gains +900, and flying. And when it's destroyed, you banish it. So it's a one-hit wonder triggerer. That's pretty good. I like it. I like it. It's wild. It's for a wild deck. So you have to be in the mood for a wild deck. And this guy is huge. It's an 8-drop, 1500. And it's got 3, you have to banish 3 resonators to save yourself the 800 cost. So of course that means that your 1-drop, if you've got like a couple of this is where really something that's relatively a bad card, Black Goat, would come in handy, because it's a 1-drop and you can use it as fodder for your Incarnation casting. So yeah, so that would make it worth more. Yeah, it would. It's got Pierce, and when it enters, destroy all resonators with total cost 2 or less. By that time, you would have paid the Incarnation cost already. Yeah. It doesn't fly, of course, and that's something that I would think about. And I'm not seeing a lot of flying in these dudes. So I'm not seeing any flying, actually. So I think a Cthulhu deck, I always like to include flyers. And so a Cthulhu deck would have to go with something else that could fly. If not, you're only on the ground with these cards, and that's a weakness. But yeah, big dude. Very big dude. Tagua. It's got first strike, and then this card gains +200 for each spell card in your graveyard. Of course, do notice it's a 0-200 without that. So you better not have an empty graveyard when you cast this guy, but that's good. And it's got first strike. Then Shub Niggurath. Shub Niggurath. Goddess of Fertility. It's got an Incarnation for 2. It can cost you as 2 resonators to save yourself the 4 cost. Search your main deck for, okay, so there you go. So it comes in and it'll get you your Black Goats. Okay, that's nice. I like that. Yeah, it comes in and gets you Black Goats. And then your Black Goats are Incarnations for your other cards. Yeah, I like that. Tap it, banish 2 other Cthulhus. Not Zulus, that's a tribe in South Africa. Banish 2 other Cthulhu resonators, put target Cthulhu non-spell card from your graveyard into your field. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Then the Hound of Tenderlos, which luckily I've pulled a whole bunch of them as I build up this cube, gains +200 for each card named the Hound of Tenderlos in your graveyard. So you only really want to have 1 in the field, and then the other one is when it's put into a graveyard from your field, you may pay 1 fire. If you do, search for another Hound of Tenderlos and put it into your field rested. Nice. That's nice. You definitely want to have 4 of these in your deck. Now, it's very weak, but it does gain the +200 for the other ones. So it starts off really weak. Really weak. That's an issue. Okay, so this one is Fire and Darkness. Hastur. It's got Incarnation for 2 resonators. Destroy target resonator with no addition when it enters. And it's aggro. It's 700. Yeah. So there you have it. That is the Cthulhu selection. And they really, in Grimm, they really went all out, I believe, on Cthulhu's for a very casual, but a deck that has many things you can add to it. So you've got the Tenderlos self combo, then you've got the Shub lady getting the Black Goat. Yeah, you've got some neat tricks and a big dude. Things with the graveyard. Yeah, I like it. Very interesting. It's got its own anthem. It just doesn't have any flyers, and that's a weakness. So if your opponent starts dropping flyers and you don't get in fast enough, you're gonna get whacked pretty hard, in my opinion. But it is a very nice selection. I've been eyeing this for a long time to build, and I definitely plan to build it. And I left it as the best for last because I do believe out of Grimm, Cthulhus as a tribal deck should be a pretty cool build. Actually, I'm gonna start researching it, looking up. I'm sure somebody has built a good Cthulhu deck from the early sets, and I'll just keep researching it till I build it. And I do have the ruler for this deck. I've shown it in this playlist. Thank you.